Cool. Yeah. So for anyone who wanted to get into jazz theory, where's a good place to start? Or, is it like YouTube videos? Is it, where do you start?
Yeah, YouTube videos are great. And if you want some recommendation, there's this channel that's amazing. It's called Open Studio.
Open Studio.
And it's Adam Manis and Peter Martin. They're two jazz pianists, and they're great guys. They're funny. They do this podcast and YouTube channel, and they every week or every so often they talk about a different subject. It could be like voicings, or it could be improvisation, and it could be, I don't know, tunes, transcribing, rhythm, harmony in general. And they do a very good job at breaking down some of these concepts and explaining them. And they even do some like guided practice sessions. So you can like put the YouTube video on and he's going to practice with you.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, they're amazing. And then if you like books more, there's this one book which I consider the Bible of jazz theory and piano, and it's the Mark Levine or Levine, I never know. So Levine.
Yeah.
It's a jazz piano book, and then there's also a jazz theory book.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they have like everything you want to know in there. Not everything you want to know, but like
right.
A lot of stuff.
A good starting point, at least. Yeah.
For sure.
I know it's not easy to just like pick up on the spot. If it was, everyone would do it. So.
Yeah, but I guess like a big part of jazz is transcribing. So if there's something if there's a song that you like, just play it on repeat and like try to figure out, because that's how really the masters and like the people that I look up to learned how to play jazz. Like I guess people like in the 70s and 80s would like play records and play on those records and try to imitate what the musicians were doing. And that's a big part of the genre, is like the oral transmission of ideas and concepts and the language. It's a language.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a drummer, and so a lot of my drummer friends like to transcribe, jazz solos, and I have a deep appreciation for people who can do that, because some of those techniques and some of those rudiments and everything that they do while they're playing, and the fact that they can even transcribe them pretty well, it's incredible. So yeah, that's still a great idea too. Yeah.
Do you find that you're able to memorize it, but in a good way, better when you're transcribing stuff? And I go like this because I'm a guitar player, but when you're playing, you feel, because when I was gonna ask you the same thing when you talked about transcribing, because the very few times that I've done it, and there have been with pop songs or rock songs, it's like now I understand what is happening. Like
right.
Do you have the same experience? Like, do you learn it faster and memorize it faster?
Yeah, I think you get a deeper understanding of what's going on and maybe what's the process that the musician or artist went through to get to the song. You really, like, in a way, get in his mind. Like, what's this guy thinking about while he's doing this? Why did he, like, how did he get to this point?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you can hear what is next. Okay, that's why he went to this chord, because it was obvious that even though because I'm not I don't know a lot of theory, but it made sense to go to this chord, to this line.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, you get in the mind of them. How many hours of transcribing do you have in your arsenal, man?
I don't know. It's hard because it happened over time. It happened like over 10 years or something. But I would say I transcribed at least like 10 or 20 songs or solos. And some of them I went deeper. Some of them I just went on a surface level. Like there's this one that I did a few years ago. It's from this jazz pianist called Gerald Clayton. And it's a solo piano piece where he just plays a jazz standard. And obviously it's like everything's improvised. He's improvising. But I really went in and transcribed everything note per note. And that really, I think, like maybe made me go to the next step. Because like one of the next, like I'm not saying the next level, like there's a lot of next levels. And I wasn't one. And like transcribing that piece particularly made me like understand a lot of things that propelled my understanding, of jazz and like piano playing, and particularly like solo piano playing. So there's that. But also some other times I just, transcribed like a sax solo. And I particularly liked one piece of the solo and took that and transposed it in all keys and played around with it. So, sometimes you transcribe the whole thing, sometimes you take a little piece and make it yours. And they are equally valid in a way.
Sure.
So you can take like an 8-bar section, and that is like, I never thought about that. It was like, I thought it always like transcribing the whole song. That's a good idea, because if you want to do that whole thing.
Yeah, and it does different things. It's like, in a way, like going to the gym and train one muscle group versus going to the gym and do like a full body workout. So when you transcribe a little piece and really dig into that and play it in all keys and make it part of your vocabulary, that thing it's now yours, and it will come up at some point in your playing. You can use it in a composition, you can use it in your own solo, and it's part of your vocabulary. But if you learn like a whole song, maybe that's more like for a general understanding of how a composition is developed, and what are like bigger structures or chord progressions and stuff like that. So it's different things, different bits of knowledge that you can acquire.
And in terms of technique, man, do you feel like you developed your own technique when you transcribe, or do you get from someone else like inspiration?
I guess technique you develop in a way just by practicing the fundamentals. Like, you're a drummer, so the rudiments.
Oh yeah.
But then when you transcribe, again, you get into another person's mind and hands, and then you learn what they are doing. So maybe they do a different fingering that you didn't think of, or they do like a grouping, like a rhythm in it with a different grouping. Maybe you thought it was a paradiddle, but he did it different. So maybe you don't really learn technique of your instrument by transcribing, but you learn some techniques that you didn't think of.
Yeah, and sometimes when I was studying piano for a period of time, I saw that sometimes I was doing the most difficult movement, and then my teacher was like, "But you can also do it this way." I'm like, "Oh, okay," and then that's perfect, man. Because it's like the work of someone else who took the time to, maybe they also did the one that you were doing, and then they discovered that you can do it some other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. I think that learning it's its own thing, Yeah.